And this the music of Lionel Jones, taken from the CD, Papa Jones CD. You can find him at cdbaby.com or lioneljones.com. Well, good evening, good afternoon, good morning to you and yours, wherever you are on the World Wide Web. Shalom, Israel. How's everybody doing on this Monday evening, September the 30th, 2013? Today is the last day of September, getting ready to go in the month of October. My name is Brother Malachi. I am your host and founder of the Men Empowered Organization. We will be getting ready to go into the book of Jasher, chapter 53. We had a couple of setbacks, so we're going to go ahead and go with 53 and move on. And hopefully, the month of October, we will be finished with the book of Jasher. And I hope everyone has learned and gotten some revelation out of this fantastic book that is mentioned in Joshua chapter 10, verse 13. Also, just want to let you know you can follow along with us around Genesis chapter 48. Yeah, around about 48. But it's going to be some loose ends in Genesis. So just like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you have four witnesses of Christ. In the book of Genesis and Jasher, you have two witnesses of the Israelites with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So we will momentarily get started with the book of Jasher, chapter 53. Before that, we want to go ahead and give you last week's commentary right here on WJMG Radio FM 92.1 on your FM dial for the greater Laurel and Hattiesburg, Mississippi area. So we've had some things going on right here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi with the longest election for the mayoral election right here in Hattiesburg. So it concluded and leading with pretty close to 200 votes. The winner in this outcome was Mayor re-elect Johnny Dupree over former councilman of Ward 4, I believe, Dave Ware. So Mayor Johnny Dupree has it for another fourth term. So without further ado, we want to go ahead and get into Thursday's commentary right here from WJMG. And right after that, we'll go into the book of Jasher, chapter 53. Welcome you to this week's edition of the Men in Power commentary right here on the Pine Belt's original Urban FM. It is Thursday, September the 26th, 2013. My name is Brother Malachi of the Men Empowered Organization. As always, we wish to thank Mr. Vernon C. Floyd and his staff for inviting us here to share with you absolute knowledge and truth. We can be reached at 601-297-2927 and online at Men Empowered. We welcome you to this edition of the Men Empowered commentary right here on the right here on the Pine Belt's original Urban FM. It is Thursday, September the 26th, 2013. My name is Brother Malachi of the Men Empowered Organization. As always, we wish to thank Mr. Vernon C. Floyd and his staff for inviting us here to share with you absolute knowledge and truth. We can be reached at 601-297-2927 and online at Men Empowered to Prosper at yahoo.com. And our web address is www.blogtalkradio.com/Men Empowered. Because of time, I will just touch on this issue, but it deserves much more attention and talking. In this election, regardless of who you voted for, one of many things that came out that concerning many people is race. This issue is not only limited to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, but throughout this entire country. The African American citizens that were once slaves in this country still find themselves treated as and looked upon as second class citizens. Time after time, we dance and skate around the root issues of race, mostly between black and white, and not dealing with looking at the root of this problem. It has it has been going on for years and been passed down to generation to generation. In the past couple of years, I've noticed some tourist publications, not by our city government, put out, dividing our city into what you would call Old Hattiesburg, which would be central and surrounding the downtown area, to New Hattiesburg, which would be western Hattiesburg, Mississippi. To a person that just moved to our city, what effect would that have on a person's thinking? In a study that was put out by CNN, a study was done with kids and how they see things here in this country concerning race. Two dolls were put before them. They were asked, which is the good doll and which is the bad doll? Most of the kids chose the white doll, and the bad doll was the black doll. I think you get the picture. How can we in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, move forward with this kind of thinking, as well as any community? I went to the U.S. Census Bureau website to pull up some information on Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I'm going to use the 2010 statistics on our population. This is just inside the city limits and not the surrounding metro areas. Our population estimates are 45,000, 53% black, 41.9% white, and 4.3% Hispanic or Latino. Today, I am a father of four and who still have one child in the Hattiesburg public school system. I asked a teacher an estimate of the demographics of the school, and her reply was, we are 80% black and only 20% white, just off the top of her head. I tend to wonder, if we are 53% black and 41% white, where are the white kids? Either the white population stopped having children, or their kids are homeschooled or sent to private school. I will say that is a personal choice. Could it be that our city schools lack funding for books to be taken home for kids because our city is unbalanced? What message are we sending to our kids as well as people who move here to Hattiesburg? One thing that will not happen if we do not talk about these issues and come up with a plan, it will not get solved. When I was a child in school, we had good relationship with our white classmates, and still today we talk and fellowship. In order for you to understand your neighbor, you have to know your neighbor and talk and find out what's going on. You can't do that by moving away from your neighbor. A church can't move from the street it was named after and still call it that same name, but is now located on another street with a different name. The Bible says the truth will make you free. It's really time for our people to know who they really are and for our neighbors to know who we really are. The nation of Egypt saw that we were growing and prospering, as well as the nation of Egypt was prospering. Then evil got into their hearts and minds and enslaved us. The Most High used Moses to win our freedom from the Egyptians and Egypt, because they did not hearken to the voice of the Most High, as a nation began to decline. Once again, we find our people in slavery again, and it took a war, not between the states, but the Most High caused that civil war to deliver his people. Now we are finding out who we really are from the history of our book, the Bible. To love God, you must love his people. To hate God, you show it by hating his people. When you understand the story of Esau and Jacob, like I have said many times, you will understand racism and why it runs deep in our community. Times are changing, and we must know what time it is. There is a reason why the Hispanic and Latino people are in our community. The reason is the Most High God is waking them up as well. They are the tribe of Issachar. Genesis chapter 49, verses 14. They are Jacob's children, just as the blacks of descended slaves are Jacob's children, who are the tribe of Judah. Genesis chapter 49, verses 9. It's time for truth, and it's time for knowledge. The views and opinions of this commentary is strictly of the Men Empowered organization and not the opinions of this radio station. My name is Brother Malachi, and this is our commentary. Shalom.
You don't understand, see, you don't get it.
People don't understand, man.
I'm a free man, and I don't mean just out of jail. I am
They just don't
free at
understand
last.
Corey Jackson, man. More Magic Evans. How many more, man? My words, my brother. We gotta get out of stop, man. We gotta get free.
I have
Gotta put a stop. We gotta get free, man. Gotta get free. We can't keep doing this to us. This tale is ill. The autobiographic is real, so I share it from deep in my memory film. 1140-35 inscribed on his khaki suit. I set a cross from my brother, trapped in a sterile room. Different families around, attempting to heal wounds. Conversation by the hour for dark souls to soothe. But this case is different. It's hella treacherous niggas. Cowards my brother trusted that became his false witness. Picture this, a small town, locale in southern state, and that serves as the framework that outlines the case. A murder took place, victim of another race. She had status and spoke to governors face to face. More fuel for the flames of supremacy and hate that blacks will never escape without God's grace. On the court date, they brought him in shackled, he took the stand. Third black boy being charged for death by one hand. An argument in another state that wouldn't have a chance. But the Commonwealth of Kentucky is a southern land that still got problems with brothers from the motherland. They judge us not by character, but by skin. But in this case, it was one Negro hair. They said similar to his in the car when she disappeared. Funny, how many blacks got similar hair? We unlucky. Evidence they use when they argue their trial, but never tested DNA and put it on file. It's all foul and wild. 50 years they gave him. Throughout trial, never showed his involvement with the slaying. Just hearsay from inmates and the main suspect.
You don't understand. You don't get it. I'm a free man, and I don't mean just out of jail. I am free at last.
Gotta get free, man. Be more substantial evidence, man. Testimonies from local bums in a segregated city is the evidence they use to convince the jury committee. But really, that's only the second level of injustice. The first level was the lie detector test they shuffled. The main suspect failed too. But detectives lied to the judge to get a warrant through. For who? You guessed it, my brother's name in the loop. The table now set for Southern hospitality soup, and they be cooking black boys by ones and groups. Straight out their youth, they stamp them by stretching the truth. But don't get it twisted, I hate anything that's corrupt. But when the government is guilty, tell me who can you trust? Now 14 of the 50 years my brother is done, and never had nothing to do with the death of the gun, but was violently prosecuted by a snake with a tongue. No wonder we burn with hatred like the rage of the sun.
I'm a lawyer.
Let me ensure that I am through walking on the wild side. That's all I've been trying to tell you. I have been sick with the social ills.
And it's the music of Rare Jewels featuring Clarity right there doing the rapping from the Rare Jewels mixtape. We've interviewed him, about a couple of years ago. Hey, just want to remind you on tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, we will have a special edition of Let's Talk. We are going to have our special guest will be Lionel Jones. The music you've heard in the beginning, Expressions. We're going to have him on our show tomorrow at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Central Standard Time right here on the Let's Talk show. So you definitely want to stay tuned for that. On tomorrow, we'll be featuring some music that he has featured from the Papa Jones CD. So I'm going to enjoy that, and I hope you enjoy that as well. Just want to let you know that our election here in the greater Hattiesburg, Mississippi is now over with. I hope everyone understand exactly what I was saying in the editorial. So there's a lot of misunderstanding, as always, between parties when you're not talking. And the thing that's going on and the thing that causes racism is misunderstanding. So in order for you to understand and to distinguish racism, you have to understand the person that you're being that the person that is being discriminated. Now, I've said this, and many others have said this. Black people can't discriminate against whites because we do not have the power. In some form, I guess they say that we showed that by being the majority here in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. But, this is another issue, and I just wanted to just kind of touch on it. I laid out some numbers about our school districts here being 80% black. When you basically depopulate this entire metro, well, not the metro area, but when you take people, a group of people out of a city, and you're having an unbalanced city financially, well, you're going to be short on some things. And that is like our school district. Our school district, you can't even take, in the city of Hattiesburg, our school kids can't even take the school books home to study because there's not enough books to go around. So that's how bad it is, because our population is depleting with one particular group. So without the finances to beef up our public schools, we just got to do what we just got to do and just make up for it. So I hope everybody is understanding, and we're not just, this thing right here is not just limited to the city of Hattiesburg, but it's with all major cities that find themselves really with a high population of blacks, as well as a high number of blacks in public schools. Because what's happening is whites are taking their children out of the public schools and putting them in private schools, and with just only a small few with Latinos and Asians that are in the school. And most of the Asians are in private school. I haven't really seen too many Asians in our district here. But I'm not going to ramble on that. That's going to be for another topic. But I just want to just kind of clarify a little bit of what I was saying in the editorial that we've had. So we are going to have another editorial on Thursday, and so probably we may hear the editorial that we do on Thursday mornings on G92. You may hear it Thursday night when we do the book of Jasher. So without further ado, let me go ahead on and go to the book of Jasher, chapter 53. Now we're looking into the brothers, the who make up the 10 tribes of Israel, because the 12 has not been established yet because they are not received their birth promise just yet, and that is Ephraim and Manasseh, who is the sons of Joseph. And we're looking at Joseph getting ready to be reunited with his brothers, but they don't understand or know who he is in Egypt. They look for him, according to the book of Jasher, they look for him for just about a year. But you're fixing to find out what kind of superpowers, what kind of supernatural powers the Most High has instilled in us, and is still in effect today. We just been blocked by the information of it because they tried to delete the book of Jasher and say it was a myth, it was a fable. None of this is not true, but we know the reason why. And if you want to know the reason why on that, all you got to do is go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 15 through 68, and you will know why they try to keep this away from us, because we have the knowledge. But it was on our fault, our forefathers' fault, because we disobeyed the Most High. So in verse 1, Jasher chapter 53, and the sons of Jacob rose up and took Benjamin and the whole of the present, and they went and came to Egypt, and they stood before Joseph. 2. And Joseph beheld his brother Benjamin, and he saluted them, and these men came to Joseph's house. 3. And Joseph commanded the superintendent of his house to give to his brethren to eat, and he did so unto them. 4. And at noontime Joseph sent for the men to come before him with Benjamin. And the men took the superintendent of Joseph's house concerning the silver that was returned in their sacks. And he said unto them, It will be well with you, fear not. And he brought their brother Simeon unto them. 5. And Simeon said unto his brothers, The Most High of the Egyptians has acted very kindly unto me. He did not keep me bound, as you saw with your eyes, for when you went out from the city, he let me free and dealt kindly with me in his house. Verse 6. Verse 6, chapter 53 of Judah. And Judah took Benjamin by the hand, and they came before Joseph, and they bowed down to him to the ground. 7. And the men gave the presents unto Joseph, and they all sat before him. And Joseph said unto them, Is it well with you? Is it well with your children? Is it well with you, your aged father? And they said, It is well. And Judah took the record, with Jacob has sent, and gave it into the hand of Joseph. 8. And Joseph read the letter and knew his father's writing, and he wished to weep, and he went into an inner room, and he wept a great weeping, and he went out. All right. Verse 9. And he lifted up his eyes and beheld his brother Benjamin, and he said, Is this your brother of whom you spoke unto me? And Benjamin approached Joseph, and Joseph placed his hand upon his head, and he said unto him, May God be gracious unto thee, my son. Verse 10. And when Joseph saw his brother, the son of his mother, he again wished to weep, and he entered the chamber, and he wept there. And he washed his face, and went out, and refrained from weeping, and he said, Prepare food. Verse 11. And Joseph had a cup from which he drank, and it was of silver, beautiful inland, with oxen stones and and Belgium, and Joseph struck the cup in the sight of his brethren whilst they were sitting to eat with him. Verse 12. And Joseph said unto the men, I know by this cup that Reuben the firstborn, Simeon and Levi and Judah, Issachar and Zebulun are children from one mother. Sent yourself to eat according to your births. Verse 13. And he also placed the others according to their births. And he said, I know that this your youngest brother had no brother, and I, like him, have no brother. He shall therefore sit down to eat with me. Verse 14. And Benjamin went up before Joseph and sat upon the throne. And the men beheld the acts of Joseph, and they were astonished at them. And the men ate and drank at the time with Joseph. And he then gave presents unto them. And Joseph gave one gift unto Benjamin, and Manasseh and Ephraim saw the acts of their father. And they also gave presents unto him. And Anas gave one present, and they were 5 presents in the hand of Benjamin. Verse 15. And Joseph brought them out wine to drink, and they would not drink. And they said, from the day on which Joseph was lost, we have not drunk wine, nor eaten any delicacy. Verse 16. Now you got to remember, they fasted from this because they had repented of Joseph. But I believe because of their repentance and their fasting brought them together because they thought they lost Joseph. But the Most High brought them together, all together as one family again. Verse 16. And Joseph swore unto them, and he pressed them hard, and they drank plentifully with him on that day. And Joseph afterward turned to his brother Benjamin to speak with him. And Benjamin was still sitting up on the throne before Joseph. 17. And Joseph said unto him, Hast thou begotten any children? And he said, Thy servant has 10 sons, and these are their names: Bela, Belcha, Ashba, Gera, Naaman, Ach, Ras, Muftin, Shambin, and Oren. And I called their names after my brother whom I have not seen. 18. And he ordered them to bring before him his map of the stars, whereby Joseph knew all the times. And Joseph said unto Benjamin, I have heard that the Hebrews are acquainted with all wisdom. Dost thou know anything of this? And Benjamin said in verse 19, Thy servant is knowing also in all the wisdom which my father taught me. And Joseph said unto Benjamin, Look now at this instrument and understand where thy brother Joseph is in Egypt, who you said went down to Egypt. Verse 20. And Benjamin beheld that instrument with the map of the stars of heaven, and he was wise and looked therein to know where his brother was. And Benjamin divided the whole land of Egypt into 4 divisions, and he found that he who was sitting up on the throne before him was his brother Joseph. And Benjamin wondered greatly. And when Joseph saw that his brother Benjamin was so much astonished, he said unto Benjamin, What hast thou seen, and why art thou astonished? Verse 21. And Benjamin said unto Joseph, I can see by this that Joseph my brother sitteth here with me upon the throne. And Joseph said unto him, I am Joseph thy brother. Reveal not this thing unto thy brethren. Behold, I will send thee with them when they go away, and I will command them to be brought back again into the city, and I will take thee away from them. Verse 22. verse 22 of chapter 53. And if they dare their lives and fight for thee, then shall I know that they have repented of what they did unto me, and I will make myself known to them. And if they forsake thee when I take thee, then shalt thou remain with me, and I will wrangle with them, and they shall go away, and I will not become known to them. 23. At that time Joseph commanded his officers to fill their sacks with food, and to put each man's money into his sack, and to put the cup in the sack of Benjamin, and to give them provisions for the road. And they did so unto them. Verse 24. And on the next day the men rose early in the morning, and they loaded their asses with their corn, and they went forth with Benjamin, and they went to the land of Canaan with their brother Benjamin. 25. They had not gone far from Egypt when Joseph commanded him that set over his house, saying, Rise, pursue these men before they get too far from Egypt, and say unto them, Why have you stolen my master's cup? Verse 26. And Joseph's officers rose up, and he reached them, and he spoke unto them all the words of Joseph. And when they heard this thing, they became exceedingly wroth, and they said, He with whom thy master's cup shall be found shall die, and we will also become slaves. Verse 27. And they hastened, and each man brought down his sack from his ass, and they looked in their bags, and the cup was found in Benjamin's bag. And they all tore their garments, and they returned to the city, and they smote Benjamin in the road, continually smiting him until he came into the city. And they stood before Joseph. 28. And Judah's anger was kindled, and he said, This man has only brought me back to destroy Egypt this day. 29. And the men came to Joseph's house, and they found Joseph sitting unto his throne, and all the mighty men standing at his right and left. Verse 30. And Joseph said unto them, What is this act that you have done, that you took away my silver cup and went away? But I know that you took my cup in order to know thereby in what part of the land your brother was. Verse 31. And Judah said, What shall we say to our Lord? What shall we speak, and how shall we justify ourselves? The Most High God has this day found the iniquity of all thy servants. Therefore has he done this thing to us this day. Verse 32. And Joseph rose up and caught hold of Benjamin, and took him from his brethren with violence. And he came to the house and locked the door at them. And Joseph commanded him that was set over his house that he should say unto them, Thus said the king, Go in peace to your father. Behold, I have taken the man in whose hand my cup was found. And this is the end of chapter 53. Tomorrow we will have our special guest on Let's Talk, Lionel Jones from the CD, Papa Jones CD. We will talk to him and interview him tomorrow, as well as we will go and continue chapter 54 on Wednesday night at 10 p.m. So until tomorrow night, this is Brother Malachi wishing you a pleasant good evening, and we will see you tomorrow. Remember, we will be here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time for a special edition of Let's Talk with Lionel Jones.
I was up on earth for a short time. I've been down here about 300.
We proudly present.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Hey, yo, Dan, you got some heavy weight on your hands there, partner.
What's that?
But check it, man. I was thinking, what we go through as artists, man, and just, what we go through. Wanting to have that support, man, and home team or whatever, it's kind of like, damn. Look, labels ain't got assignment. Nope. Christ already did that. Yep. The moment he hung on the cross, died and came back. My record deal been permanent black. Ink and blood that flow thicker than water when folk don't show me no love. Right. So I still produce, though industry tired of loot. What? I ain't still digging in crates for beat break. You know it. Stay spitting numerous gems and keepsakes. The Lord been good to me, gotta give him deep thanks. Thank you. 16 lines that make you call a fireman. Why? Just to put out the flames that's on your mind. Keep my brain on the grind to polish these jewels. Pumping more heart than blood that's transfused. Stay smooth in my lane cause my composure is based on nothing man does, just the Almighty's grace. Transatlantic connection, sons of God in the booth. Clarity dims on the beat, spitting gifts for living proof. From the moment the beat drop, I leak ink hot, flow through gutters with deep thoughts till it cleans hearts. My people need art cause it inspires revelation. That's my gift, I do it without hesitation. The moment the beat drop, I leak ink hot, flow through gutters with deep thoughts till it cleans hearts. My people need art cause it inspires revelation. That's my gift, I do it without hesitation. It's blatant that men don't value the tongue they was given, but I'm cut from another cloth. Flow's kinda different, in fact, I spit wisdom like a hustler block pitching. Broke without a pot to piss in, so I pour in ears to listen. He's probably smoked out somewhere angry on that riffing, trying to figure out that short way out of bondage, while problems interrogate their brain life, hold them hostage. I'm CIA, clear, intelligent, and awesome. People gather at the flawless tactics, ballin' accurate, inside to outside, till I'm doing it backward. Head back to the hood, give them truth and classics. This is rap, skip what whack dudes on. From the moment the beat drop, I leak ink hot, flow through gutters with deep thoughts till it cleans hearts. My people need art cause it inspires revelation. That's my gift, I do it without hesitation. The moment the beat drop, I leak ink hot, flow through gutters with deep thoughts till it cleans hearts. My people need art cause it inspires revelation. That's my gift, I do it without hesitation. Okay, Ben, check it out. We got something to prove right here, cause a lot of folks believe you can only do certain things certain ways, so check it out, look at it like. So let's talk about keys. Some traffic theirs through drugs, I traffic mine through 16. Packaging and audio, cause my hustler's dreams should be the #1 substance purchased by fiends. From semi-pro sports to girls that dudes lusted, I had a bit of all of it, but still I can be trusted. Functioning flow fluid, so the flow's like sewage. Funky, over top of Denzi's beats, I'm monkey. But not in the way that Charles Darwin would say. Take them back to Genesis, the curse of the arch nemesis. Flowing part in your censorship, bold and sponsor initiative. From a sheath of sword is drawn upon a claim. The moment the beat drop, I leak ink hot, flow through gutters with deep thoughts till it cleans hearts. My people need art cause it inspires revelation. That's my gift, I do it without hesitation. The moment the beat drop, I leak ink hot, flow through gutters with deep thoughts till it cleans hearts. My people need art cause it inspires revelation. That's my gift, I do it without hesitation.